Hello, everyone. Thank you for checking in here at Hatter's Wrath Gaming. I'm getting back into the saddle of doing content creation again, and I think I came at a great time with a game called War of Nova. This game's been out about 6 months or so this year, and it's had its ups and downs, but there's some good news on the horizon for War of Nova and some bad news for anyone who is a fan of Lord of the Rings Rise to War. Netease has officially announced they're pulling the plug December 31st for Lord of the Rings Rise to War. And that community of gamers has been massive, and it's coming as a huge surprise to everyone that they're doing this. But now it opens the door for an opportunity here with War of Nova. So today I'm going to do an introductory video basically breaking down what War of Nova is, what to expect coming into it, and go over a couple things that make it stand out and some things that will make it seem familiar to anyone who's played similar games or is coming from Rise to War. So today is really just dipping our toe in and seeing what this is, and then moving forward I will have a bunch of videos scheduled, including another one that I will release not too far in the future, pretty quickly. That's basically a budget build slash early development video. What to expect when you're first starting out, what's going to be a really strong setup that will help you stay competitive and enjoy playing the game without having to dump a lot into it. And then from there, I'll go into deeper videos. What are some ships to really work on down the road that have high potential, high ceilings? Go over the basics, commanders, strikecraft, and some of that stuff I'm going to show you today as well, just so you get an idea for the game. I really want to open this up for everyone, and I do want to give a big thank you and shout out to those in the Discord group and guild in War of Nova Tower. We've really come together to break down the game and find what works best for us and what we think could be helpful for others to really follow, and have pushed to make builds and see what's going on and testing them. And a lot of people are still testing because this is a relatively new game with what was a small community beforehand, and is now developing on the wings of Rise to War closing into something more as players find a new game to really jump into. And I think this is a great sign for the future for this game, and I really want to show my appreciation for everyone that came over to Tower from Rise to War just to give it a try with us. I don't think anyone's going to be too upset by it. And for those who enjoyed Rise to War 1.0 before their 2.0 update, this game will feel very familiar. So without further ado, let's jump into the Revolving Games website. I wanted to jump into this just to give you a little bit of an idea of what to expect out of this game from the start. So there's a lot of features right here. I'm going to go into them a little bit, talk about our experience having played this for a few months, and talk about what other things aren't straight shown here. The first thing we noticed, deep tactical combat, very similar wording to what Rise to War had. Same with the strategic territory control. If you've played any of these tiling games with resources and PvP armies, it's going to be very similar, if not exactly the same style, but we're doing it in space. With the multi-tiered season gameplay, and I'm going to bounce over to leaderboards and rewards and bounce down the replayable mastery, these kind of tie into each other. So, just like Rise to War and any other game that has a season or a wipe, like Escape from Tarkov, they do reset every player at the beginning of a new season to the same level. And that allows people to grow and really be competitive at their own rate. Um, as far as replayable mastery, right now, I think the replayability is kind of limited as far as what to expect. We haven't seen much out of the game. We're second season in and have been told by the devs that this has been a beta, and there's some stuff going on in the background with revolving games that hasn't been all that positive to date. And I don't want that to scare you away, because I really think that with an influx of players and the new dev team they have working on the game now, I really have a good feeling about where they're going with this. And honestly, the players who are interested in this game and dedicated have been giving a lot of feedback to them, and they are listening. I know that there's devs popping in and out of Discords just to see what people are saying about the game, and anything that they really want to see or have questions on. They're open to those, which is awesome. It's been said that the communication's been very lax or minimal or non-existent, and I think they could be better with that. But at the same time, they really are putting a lot of effort into this game, and they really want to succeed. So we're hoping that the next seasons are going to be better, and that there'll be some new things coming in. And as far as leaderboards and rewards, the leaderboards are basically useless right now. There's no reward behind them. But the first season did have some crypto drops, which some people are thinking came a little too early. They think they should develop the game a little bit and then release them at a later date, as a ramp up type thing. But aside from that, I don't want to get bogged down into the negatives, but I think we really need to overlook those right now and move towards what this game is and could be. And then looking at the faction-based strategy, I'll show a little bit in more in depth. But if you look right here, where there's 8 factions, each has a faction bonus, and they each have a faction starting squadron or barracks if you're coming from Rise of War, which makes it really fun. There's not a lot of backstory so far. If you read between the lines on their Twitter posts, you kind of get an idea of what's going on in the game. But we would definitely love to see more lore. And then the real-time planning and execution, again, same thing as other games of similar nature. You really got to be on point, and everything's happening all at once. Be very strategic, and make sure you're communicating what's going on with your team. This is what it looks like. There's very limited stamina for the ships. They call it fuel stamina if you're used to Rise to War, and it burns quick. So being strategic is key. So you see a little bit right here that the tiles are hexagon shapes. There's a similar look to what you'd expect from a similar game like Rise to War, and just some generic pictures here, seeing what's going on. I'm gonna open up the game and actually show you a little bit more. First, I wanted to just quickly show you the War of Nova webpage itself. This leaves a lot to be desired. Excuse me, a lot to be desired. The main purpose of this website is to connect your crypto wallet and purchase packs through here, which I'm not a crypto guy. I'm not interested in that. If anyone is, feel free to look into it. And you just basically sign in with your information. Not for me, and I'm not really going to show anyone what's going on with that. Not really worth it. So I will take a second here and pull up War of Nova. I mainly play it mobile, but you can play it BlueStacks, and I believe you can play it in Mumu Player as well. Right now I have BlueStacks pulled up for this. I found that to be a little bit more reliable and cleaner than Mumu Player. And I'm just going to go over a few things here. So as far as the UI, very simple but clean. I like it. I think it's really nice. It's a change of pace with it, and I can't say much about it. I think it's really good UI. Top left corner, you have your operations tech, which is similar to the ring in Rise to War. This first section is the first one that unlocks, so you can have more tiles. You can use stockpile and expedite your less than 5 minute constructions. Ship power, elemental power, initiative. These are things I'm going to go into deeper in a specific video where I talk about the different statistics. I'm just quickly showing everything right now, though. The next tree to unlock is economy. That's your Helion, which I'll go over in a second. The next one's adding additional fuel. So your ships start out with 120. You can get up to 150. It's not really a lot, seeing as though your ships use 20 stamina for whatever move they're doing. If you recall, you get half of that back. And the last one, you're going to get power projection, which is just increasing the durability and the amount of outposts that you get. If you go to your profile, this is where you can change your picture, see what guild, faction you're in. If you click on another player's name, this is what you'll see. The big thing to note here is your ID number. If you're looking to get invited by any guilds that are in the Season 2 right now and you just started, you're going to want to hit this copy button, and you'll copy that and then paste it to whoever's going to send the invite to you, and they'll send that. Now, along the top here, we have our affluence or influence. I just call it affluence from Rise to War, but this is your generation of the points that get you leveled up right here. Same concept, Rise to War. The next one over is your tiles. Right now, we're tile capped at 216. There is a chapter in here that's just a roadblock that says it will give more materials, more tiles, but you can't actually complete chapter 21. Then we have our resources. We have water, titanium, gas, and mineral. And these are very, very aligned to Rise to War's materials. So titanium is just for building. Mineral is just for ships, and the other two get used with both. This is our Helion, something that I spoke of before. These are the basically ability points, and they recharge 20 every 24 hours or 1 every hour and 12 minutes. It takes all 20 to do a War Games, which is basically the experience draw. I don't really have anything in close by, but it's right here. There's options for using more than 20 Helion and things like that, but I'm not sure if they'll ever have more than 20, or if that's just a placeholder, or if they added too many numbers by accident. Not really sure. The next one over is credits. Now, honestly, we haven't used these at all. You get them from doing patrols, but they have not put in a store to use them. I'm trying to see if there's a patrol that I can click on, but basically you get the credits as a guaranteed reward from those, but you can't use them right now, unfortunately, and we're not sure what they're going to be used for in the future, but you do have a cap of 1 million of those. The last one here is the in-game currency. There's currency you can buy. Daily discounts that give you different things, just like the store in Rise to War. You can spend $7 to get some gold and extra construction queue. Limited time offers. This I've only seen happen for gold ships, which are legendaries. When you pull them for the first time, it gives you an offer for, I believe, 24 hours. And then the battle pass, which will be its own beast that I go over in a video. I'm going to go over what spending looks like in this game as a separate video, and what to look for, what not to look for. But anyone that's joining right now, I would just say hold off and don't bother with the battle pass because you're not going to complete it in the time that we have left until the new season, unless they wait a month until the new season comes out. But I highly doubt that's going to happen. Same concept as far as progression through the season as Rise to War. You basically have like these big chapters, and the cool part right now is that whenever one of these chapters gets completed, which shows filled in, you get this gold for your entire server. There's only, I believe, one chapter that is based off of ranking. Let's see. Not really sure which one it is. There's one of these is based off of ranking. And that determines how much gold you get. I believe it's this one. No, this one. So this is the only one that really has a leaderboard that gives rewards. It's faction rank, it's how many regions you control, and the amount that you control is how much gold that your specific team, your specific faction, I should say, gets at the end of that. And there's some tough ones in here. There is a bug with this one that's a little bit of a pain. So you need to capture 3 faction capitals, but they don't count your own. So you have to get 3 on top of your own. And we're going to take a look right now. Pink is Arcos, their faction, and they have their own here. They took Terra and Vanguard, but it only showed 2 out of 3, so they had to tile all the way down to Omega. Those 3 factions, Terra, Vanguard, and Omega, were the ones that were not filled up this season for the most part. They still had some active players, but really didn't offer a whole lot. And I'm playing on Tyrannus right now. There are some things that happened. We did get put into the server 3 weeks late. They decided to merge all servers into one, but they did it in 2 pieces, 3 weeks apart. So we didn't really get a chance to do much. We took a lot, in our opinion, in the 2 weeks that we've played, but we definitely wish that we had a level playing field coming in here, but that's all right. We did our best, and now we're moving forward. A couple other things, like you just saw me go on the map. Down here is the chat. We have the leaderboards. A lot of stuff I'm going to go over a different time, but I'm going to quickly run through the ships. So right now, this is one of the more fun ships that I like to use, called the Dark Fang. You can look at them all the way around. They have pretty cool models. The big thing about this is that your ships are just like a commander from Rise to War. The mastery levels are reputation levels from Rise to War. You have your XP, your fuels, the stamina, and the stats are pretty much the same as well. So leadership is command, and I know it's going to seem kind of funky with the command points here, but what command points really refer to is your ship allotment that you can have. So ships take a certain amount of space up, either 1, 2, or 4 for light, medium, and heavy, and that shows you how many of those ships you can, or how many points that you have to go towards ships in your strike group, your battle group, sorry, is what they call it. For blues, you can get generic schematics or the blue ones that go specifically to that ship. For purples and golds, you can only get that ship's schematic. Officers are the same as equipment in Rise to War. Your sword, your chest piece, helmet, accessory, yada yada yada. It doesn't really matter. They each have their own set group of abilities that you normally see. So most of the time, confusion, stun immunity, and confusion and stun application you'll see specifically in the command, although I've seen other commanders have it at the gold tier. And there's some mixing, matching, and some playing around that we're doing with a lot of these just to find what works. Again, I'm going to go through these in much more depth at a later time. But as far as this goes, I think that's a good introduction to the game, and I really think that there's a lot we can do from here. Looking at the game and seeing where it can go. At this point, I definitely just want to let you know to look out for future game videos from me and others like Silkwing. I know he puts out videos, and I think there might be another person or two who are looking to do videos or who have some out. So I definitely recommend that. But just stay tuned and stick with it and look out for my upcoming videos. Thank you.